Chapter 4 of Uncle Tom's Cabin is titled An Evening in Uncle Tom's Cabin. And we're going to be looking at the way Tom's cabin is described here. And it's described as a small log building that's close to the house par excellence. And that means par excellence means that better or as good as someone in a domain. So because Tom is such an excellent servant, the master, Mr. Shelby, wants his house right next to his, and he has certain privileges that others don't. And the facade of the building is covered by fruit vines and vegetable plants, and it's just kind of a real Garden of Eden. Very beautiful foliage. The front is covered with flowers, nice landscaping, and inside the building, Aunt Chloe, which is Uncle Tom's wife, is busy cooking her old man supper, and she is kind of like the matriarch of the establishment. She's a very, very good cook. She's very accomplished. The book says that her face is a round, black, shining face is hers, so glossy as to suggest the idea that she might have been washed over with white of eggs, like one of her own tea rusks. So universally, in her world, she's known as the best cook, and because of that, she's self-conscious, in a good way. She's proud of her accomplishments, and she wants to keep her title as the head cook. And in the corner, there's a bed, and in the corner, there are two little boys. They're woolly-headed boys, and they're helping a baby walk. And with each successive failure, being violently cheered as something decidedly clever. So these little kids, these little boys are helping another little child walk, and every time the little baby falls down, they cheer her on, and kind of a funny scene, as little boys are. Uncle Tom is Mr. Shelby's best hand. He's the hero of the story, and then we come to a description of him. He's big, he's strong, he's powerfully made, he's kindly and benevolent, and Master George, who's Mr. Shelby's 13-year-old son, is helping Tom read. And there's a real beautiful relationship between George and Uncle Tom. George is the favorite child here. Aunt Chloe and Uncle Tom are just doting over George, and they're making him food. And Aunt Chloe is making him a delicious pound cake. And Tom and George are about to sit down together for a meal. And while they're eating, George is teasing Aunt Chloe, and he says, Aunt Chloe, the Lincolns, apparently they have a better cook than you. And Chloe gets real up in arms about this in jest. They're jesting, and Chloe is not admitting to it. And she's like, the Lincolns cook, she's okay. She can make decent, fare, but I make a lot better food. And Sorry, I got kicked out of the room that I was in. I'm kind of in a public library, and someone else rented the room and kicked me out. So just moved to a different room here. So we left off with George teasing Aunt Chloe that the Lincolns have a better cook than her. So there's friendly banter, as friends will often engage in. Nothing serious. So then George starts to do some reading. And the room starts to fill up with other slaves, and it's kind of like at the end of the day, people are coming together, and they're just encouraging each other and reading, and kind of a social gathering of sorts. And soon they start to sing, and there's incessant mention of Jordan's banks, Canaan's fields, and the New Jerusalem, which are all biblical references. The slaves of that day saw parallels between themselves and the children of Israel in Egypt, and they were forced to work in the fields and suffer harsh conditions, which was the same thing that the Egyptians did to the Israelites. They forced them to be their slaves after Joseph and his family migrated into Egypt. So then they're saying hymns of encouragement, and then George is asked to read the last chapters of Revelation, and George is a very good speaker. He's kind of long-winded, and he knows he's the object of attention, and he likes that attention. So he starts to kind of give his own little interpretation of the last chapters of Revelation, and everyone's just amazed at how intelligent this little guy seems. And they say that they say that a minister couldn't lay it off better than he did, which was really amazing. So George likes the spotlight. And then Uncle Tom too is described as a patriarch, and his domain of specialty is praying. So he prays very well, and every time he prays with childlike earnestness, which really makes people feel that he's genuine. He's not some pious, priest just praying in flowery language, but Tom has a genuine relationship with God. And then it says, interestingly, while this scene was passing in the cabin of one man, one quite otherwise passed in the halls of the master. And the master, being Mr. Shelby and the trader are together in the dining room, and they're transacting the sale of Tom and Eliza and her little son. And Mr. Shelby feels very guilty about this and says that, Mr. Haley, I remember that you promised on your honor you wouldn't sell Tom without throwing what sort of hands he's going into. You promised to treat Tom well, so I want you to honor that. And Mr. Haley says, sure, I will do that, but we all know that it's hypocritical, and Mr. Haley's not the man he promises out to be. So Mr. Shelby, they transact the sale, and Mr. Shelby lets Mr. Haley go, and Mr. Shelby is seen in the end just pensively smoking a cigar, thinking about what he's done. And that concludes chapter 4, and then we'll pick off in chapter 5 soon. Thanks for watching.